Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. It's time!
3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Ayla's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU. America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Friday. Glad to have you along and glad that you're with us on this Friday. Although a little rainy, that's okay. And no matter where or how you're following, we appreciate you, whether it's on one of our great radio station affiliates like 97.7 ESPN, The Ref, always the right call in Evansville, up in the region on the voice of the region. 104.7 FM, 1230 AM. Yeah, that's it. 104.7 FM, WJOB. And Fort Wayne's only sports station, 1380 The Fan. Glad to have you along. Lock it right there. Leave it all day long, no matter where you're going. And if you're following on social media, hit that subscribe and like button. Pound it. Pound that subscribe and like button for us. Appreciate you. And don't forget to go to thehoosier.com while you can still get the 50% off deal. I'm telling you. And first of all, it helps us provide you with the content that we continue to try to provide. And that's how we're able to get that done. But you'll get the most in-depth coverage of Indiana sports around and then some, and a free subscription to The Athletic. So try beating that. How are you on this Friday? A little wet out there, but that's okay. Another big day set up. Hey, on the program today, Peach Bowl president and CEO Gary Stokan will join us. The Peach Bowl, one of the four semifinal, is that right, locations, or are they one of the, or two semifinals? 4 quarterfinals. I keep getting it mixed up. I think they're one of the 2 semifinal locations. Get that straight here in a second. There's too many. There's 6 that they spread out. So, yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Glad to have you along and very, very happy. It's the end of the week, but lots going on this weekend. No matter who you're a fan of, the Colts, they're heading to Berlin, Germany. So we talked to Matt Taylor yesterday as the coach looking to get back on the winning side of things after losing to Pittsburgh last week. The Indiana Hoosier football team, they travel to Happy Valley to take on Penn State in a much ballyhooed game all season long that has lost a lot of its luster. But this is not a game that you can take lightly. I don't care who you are. It's at Penn State. It's Penn State. Indiana's never won at Penn State. So there's another first coming for potential Hoosiers. But also it will get them to 10-0 for the second consecutive year, a mark they had never reached prior to last season. Also, I'm curious to see if they can well, first of all, they have to win the game. Let's don't get ahead of ourselves and pretend. They've got to win the game. And if they can they beat Penn State worse at Penn State than Ohio State did at home? What would that I'm curious on what that might do to the committee and their thought. Schnitzel with sauce. I like that, Brian. I like that a lot. How about some schnitzel and sauce? Yeah, happy Friday to you, Jim Colts in Indianapolis. No matter where you're listening, we got peeps from all over. Oh, and before I forget, because I have forgotten almost every day, and I really feel horrible about it. I know that we've got tons of people that listen from where we originally started, down in southern Indiana, Louisville area, where I'm from. A horrible plane crash, the UPS cargo plane that went down immediately after takeoff. It never really got up. I mean, it got up into the air, but that was about it. Lost an engine. I mean, I don't mean to lose it as it stopped working. It fell off of the plane. And then, and of all things, this thing was going to Honolulu. So it was fueled up for enough fuel to get to Honolulu. Normally planes, they fill them with only the amount of fuel and a little bit more than they need to get to their destinations for weight and other things. But this thing, fully fueled, had just taken off, and man, what a horrible scene down there. And so thoughts and prayers with everybody down there, thinking of you guys. Man, it was just something. Then we've got all kinds of craziness going on. Antonio Brown, remember this nut job from the NFL? You got to feel sorry for him. He's got several screws loose. Now he was apprehended in Dubai and is being extradited back to the United States on murder charges. So that dude has been in. Yeah, he's crazy. The Broncos beat the Raiders last night 10-7 in a just unbelievable fun game. Just kidding. Broncos are 10-2, Raiders 2-7 on the season right now. Luke Fickell, all of these coaching openings that we have in college football right now. Yeah, Brian, AB has some mental issues. To be honest with you, how is he out just roaming by himself? This dude is shown to be a mental whack job. I mean, he has had more problems than you can imagine, and he's just out walking the streets. I just can't imagine that. Anyway, I interrupted myself. All of these college openings out there right now, it's crazy. Who's going to go where? Who's going to fill these shoes? Who's going to fill their shoes? Who's going to fill those spots? Well, one that won't have to worry about it is Wisconsin, as they announced yesterday. Luke Fickell will return. And I've got to be honest with you, not based on success, but based on what the hell are you going to do next? Are you going to get a better coach than Luke Fickell? Did he forget how to coach? What's the problem? I think that a wise athletic director would have to just say, all right, we need to identify what is the problem here, because Luke Fickell didn't forget how to coach. But it's a different era now, and can he survive in this particular era? Is Wisconsin supplying all the resources needed? Where are they on NIL? Don't know. I don't have the answers to those questions. But maybe that's why he'll be returning next year, according to Chris McIntosh, the athletics director for Wisconsin. They're 2-6 overall, winless in the Big Ten. But McIntosh is informing the Wisconsin team on Thursday, or yesterday, that Fickell would return as head coach next year. The return will come with changes, which include increased investment in the roster and the program, along with an ongoing analysis of every facet of the program. I'm going to guess Wisconsin wasn't doing what they should have been doing. They were just lying on their laurels of the past success. Doesn't work. I think that they've seen what happens when you have alignment at, say, Indiana, amongst the head coach, the athletics director, the president. Success just doesn't happen. Doesn't just fall into your lap. Fickell's deal runs through 2031. If he would have been fired this year, he would have been owed more than $25 million. So, yeah, they weren't looking to add to that. They're like, you know what? Let's put that money into the program instead. Good idea, because that's what it's going to take. It'll be interesting to see how that story lays out. South Florida beat University of Texas San Antonio 55-23 last night. Let's see, were there any other games? Surely there were several last night. Northwestern and USC tonight. Northwestern at USC. An opportunity for USC to go to 5-1 on the season in the Big Ten, 7-2 overall. So we'll see, man. Big games this weekend, though, in other places. BYU and Texas Tech. Man, this is a precursor to potentially, depending upon how things fall out after this game now, of the Big 12 championship. Both of these teams are ranked high enough to where they can stay in the top 12. But this is going to be an interesting game, how this one swings. Cincinnati, we've already seen that is going to be knocked out after they lost. Ohio State goes to Purdue. That'll be nothing. The Citadel to Ole Miss. Texas A&M at Missouri. Man, that would have been a great matchup, except for Bo Pribula out for the year for Missouri, the former Penn State backup quarterback. Oregon goes to Iowa. Man, that is going to be another interesting game in the Big Ten. 7-1 Oregon, 6-2 Iowa. Iowa just on the outside of making that noise. To become the fourth team, you got to win this game. But if Oregon were to lose, what happens to them? Yeah, curious. Hey, we got to take a break. Lots more coming up. Pates Bowl President and CEO Gary Stokan is going to join us today. Zach Osterman, Indy Star Insider, and Alec Lasley from the Hoosier.com as well. Get your pick'ems in. The lead has shrunk. Fulton going to be playing his Hamilton County Special Olympics basketball this season. Good for you, brother. Brian's won 6 more games than the second place, but he only has a 2-point lead. That's what about the points thing. Yeah, that's what makes this so interesting, the pick'ems. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Glad to have you along. Right after these messages. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. And you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Friday. I hope you had a great week. Sending you off into the weekend with plenty coming up as the Colts travel to Berlin, Indiana traveling to Happy Valley to play football, and then, of course, the basketball side on Sunday in Chicago. I'll be up there as the Hoosiers taking on Marquette as they get an early test 2 games into their season under Darren DeVries after coming off of a huge win over Alabama A&M Wednesday night. So everything going on this weekend, people. It's just happening. You can just sit back and enjoy it all. It's all laying out. And we're getting down to the this fun end of the college football season. Some of these games, like I just talked about, Oregon, Iowa, huge game in the Big Ten Conference. You've got big game in the Big 12 with BYU and Texas Tech. LSU is at Alabama. LSU, without their coach, we've seen what happens with teams when they get into these positions. Although Alabama kind of rolling right now, and they're at home. Notre Dame home to a Navy team that it looked like they had something earlier, but yeah, we'll see. Other than that, not those are the more important games, I guess. In the Big Ten itself, this weekend, I talked about Northwestern and USC tonight, as USC looking to become that 4th team to get a bid into the CFP, but they already have 2 losses on the season, can afford 0 more. So they've got to finish the season like that. Ohio State goes to Purdue. Maryland goes to Rutgers. Oregon and Iowa. That's a huge game in the Big Ten, without question. And it will carry a lot of significance on what's going on this season, without doubt. Let's see. Earlier in the week, also, I did not get to play the players from the basketball game the other night. Lamar Wilkerson, Reed Bailey. We can hear what some of what they had to say.
Both of you guys. Coach DeVries said at Big Ten Basketball Media Day, threes are going to be a big part of who you are. You guys came out tonight 42%. Just your thoughts on how you shot it in the opener.
I mean, I thought we shot it great. We had our guys. They were everybody. They were looking for their shots, and, I mean, they were going down. So it was a lot of fun to be out there and play.
We got a team, bunch of shooters. So, shots going in, that's a good thing. It carries over the defensive end, and we was getting out running transition. That creates open threes. So,
I guess as a follow-on for that for either of you, the ball movement that led to those, is that something that you guys have seen even going back to the summer, obviously through Puerto Rico, through the preseason, the ability this team has to just keep the ball moving sort of one pass ahead of the defense?
For the most part, Coach DeVries is big on just moving the ball, being unselfish. I think it was one practice like 2 weeks ago. We had 31 assists to 2 turnovers. So the ball's always moving. We feel like we're better, playing when the ball is moving and, moving off ball again, getting us open shots.
Yeah, Reed.
I just wanted to stop it right there because hearing players talking about statistics that they keep, notice this is not anything you heard in the last 8 years, probably. Players weren't made aware of what they were doing, of what they were doing wrong. They weren't made aware what the team was doing wrong. I truly believe that. Because these guys, they pay attention to all of those details. The small details are there. Free throw shooting. Look at free throw shooting. How high the numbers are. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. These aren't guys that were brought in because they were NBA All-Stars either. These are basketball players, but they're the right basketball players. And I just think that that's such a huge difference that you can see in these small details that not everyone always pays attention to, but those things right there, they're being made aware, which means they're being coached, which means everything they're doing has a point, a rhyme, a reason to get to where you're trying to get to. I'm telling you. Can IU beat Marquette? I actually, IU fan asking, I expect Indiana to beat Marquette. Michael, the Music Man, says he's really surprised that the IU Marquette game is being carried on ESPN. He didn't think ESPN did Big Ten or Big East games. This is not either of those. This is not a Big Ten or Big East game. This is being put on by someone else. It's like when they have those preseason deals, in the Bahamas or whatever. Those are not put on by nor the schools nor the conferences, and these are put on by events people. These are events. I can't even remember the name event of this game Sunday, because I kept seeing it going, what the hell is that? And because I kept seeing I had credentials to this, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Well, it's the IU Marquette game. How are you doing? Egan Stoller, how you say that? Agent All-Star. There we go. Get it all out. But yeah, that's why. But a good catch. But is that a good thing? Because how many people don't have ESPN right now? I'm one of them. I'm like, come on, man. Not that I'll be home, I'll be at the game. So, but yeah, that's not the greatest thing in the world right now. But it's kind of aggravating, I'll be honest with you. I mean, we're getting into the basketball season now. We're already into the football season, and there's stuff that's, I mean, the college football playoff deal the other night, reveal, wasn't on. So I think it's ridiculous on both sides. You can blame both sides, I'm sure, but how much longer can they go? Really, I mean, you've got some big time games that are not being seen by people. Will we go another weekend without ESPN ABC games? Eventually, YouTube TV and ESPN will have a deal. The fact that they blew past college football this weekend and then Monday Night Football is not an encouraging sign. YouTube TV's 10 million subscribers are a significant number. At this point, it is hard to see how YouTube TV could have much of a business without ESPN, while ESPN needs YouTube TV. So a deal will happen, just a matter of when. I wish I could tell you exactly when that will be, but no one can. Yeah, that doesn't do much to help us, does it? Yeah. Another comment. I've seen plenty of people wonder if this is a ploy by ESPN to drive people to its new direct-to-consumer app to watch games. Not so fast. As Andrew Marchand noted this week, pulling such a move simply doesn't make financial sense. Dan Shanoff explained yesterday, despite the outsized impact of sports fans, neither of those companies really needs a deal to happen immediately. Or to clarify, they're parent companies. They're behemoths, and this is not hurting them. The only people are being hurt are us. So it stinks. Yeah, it stinks. Guys, everybody's got their hand out. Everybody's got their hand out, man. I mean, it hurts me because I record a ton of games that I can't watch because of being at games and watch them later. And I'm not getting to see these games, which is not, I'm not enjoying, because I like to be able to watch everything to have as much information as possible. Yeah, well, if you're following Indiana, as Gritty points out, yeah, it's time to listen. You can listen to Don Fisher. Unfortunately, that doesn't work for me. Again, I'm usually at the IU game. It's not the IU game I'm missing. It's all the other game. Brent says the Buc-ee's is coming to Indiana. Hold the phone. Oh, my. Oh, my. Where? I guess that has to be off of one of the major interstates near Indianapolis, I'm guessing. I'd have to look that up. Yeah, Channel 4 days are long gone, my friend. Christopher says, just sign up for Fubo. ESPN is part of their standard channels. Well, yeah, you can sign up for anything else. You can sign up for a lot of other things. But still, I can take this on my phone when it's with me. I can, it's just I-65 in Johnson County. Jamie says, well, I don't know where Johnson County is. Give me a city. Give me a city. He's 45 minutes from Buc-ee's there in oh, that's an IU fan down there. Said the novelty wears off quickly. I'm sure it does. Once you've been in there a couple of times, which I've only been in, I think, one. And I believe that was coming back from the Indiana-Auburn basketball game 2 years ago. Jason asking the basketball question, is the pipeline to Montverde gone? Well, I would answer that, Jason, with, does Montverde have a pipeline anymore? They lost their coach up to an Ohio prep school, Coach Boyle, who had won their national championships. I'm not sure what they are going to be like. So, and as far as pipelines nowadays, don't see the need for them, don't see the necessity. It's about recruiting a couple of the high-end guys, which it's great to have relationships, don't get me wrong, and whatever relationship was there. But how good of a relationship could Indiana have had with Montverde after Liam McNeely bolts? But that was because of Mike Woodson. Hey, we've got to take a break. Football's rolling, baby. Peach Bowl President and CEO Gary Stokan's going to join us, one of the premier landing spots for the college football playoffs. Lots more coming up. We're back with all that and more right after these messages. Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Friday. Happy to have you guys along, and more happy to have Mr. Gary Stokan with us, the president and CEO of the Peach Bowl. How are you, Gary? You look just like a picture, man. Just exactly like it. Oh, I think we've got your, is your mic muted? Go ahead and say something, Gary. Let's make sure we can. There you go. You're muted there. Unmute your mic and we'll get you going. Well, no, still don't have the audio from you. Make sure your mic is hooked up. Go down into the settings and make sure that your mic from your computer that you're using there is in settings. You've got audio. Just go into settings and audio, and you should be able to connect your mic while Gary's doing that. The Peach Bowl is one of the great landing spots. Man, I've been to the Peach Bowl several times back in the days, and there you go. I think I heard you. No, damn it. It was just there. I heard a blip, but we'll keep trying, Gary. Keep trying to get that microphone connected there, that whatever one that is on your computer that it's using. I can see that it's muted at the moment. Now you're unmuted. You just start talking, and I'll tell you if I hear you. But unfortunately, we're going to keep working on that. We'll get Gary lined out here in a second with his little technical issue. But Gary is also retiring after 2+ decades of great service to the Peach Bowl, which has raised over $65 million for charity there in the Atlanta area, and just continues to go well. Maybe I'm going to have you go out and come back in, Gary. Maybe that'll help fix things by automatically. So just kick yourself out and come back in, and hopefully we can get him back in here and get lined out and erase those technical issues. But, man, sometimes it happens in life. Everything can't be perfect. But we'll get Gary on with us. The Peach Bowl, you've got the Peach Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl. Did I list all 6? There are 6 bowl games, the major New Year's 6, that are rotated around as the quarterfinals and semifinal games of the college football playoffs. And I think the Peach Bowl is one of the 2 semifinal games this year. And you don't know where you're going to play yet, as the winner of the Big Ten automatically goes to the Rose Bowl. And we're going to try this again with Gary. Boy, I still don't have your audio, Gary. Man, this is where we need kids in the house, all of us. But, yeah, I know that they're there in the StreamYard at the bottom. There's the settings. We're doing this live as we go along, and I'm trying to locate where where your microphone setting is on your end there. And if you go into settings, you should be able to make sure you're matching the microphone. Right now, you're muted, and I can't unmute you. You have to unmute yourself on your end. And you're still muted right now. But anyway, these 6 bowls are the bowl games that will encompass this college football playoffs. And the Peach Bowl is one of the very high end. This is where you're going to see two of the top 4 teams in the college football playoffs knocking heads, baby, to see who will play for the title. Let's see. We need to get somebody offline to help Gary. You're still muted, by the way, Gary, and your microphone is muted, which I cannot unmute you because you're muted on your. Now you're unmuted, but I think your microphone is just not connected. The right microphone is not connected here in StreamYard. But now, if you could just go down into the StreamYard settings itself and maybe find the microphone that you've got set up, and we'll go from there. Once he gets there, Indiana this weekend taking on Penn State, another game that even though it's against Penn State, and you can just keep talking and I'll let you know if I ever hear you. Penn State, a team that has not been what we expected. Of course, they've not won a Big Ten game this year. Shocking to all of us, but this is not going to be an easy game. Regardless, you're going into Happy Valley, 100,000 plus people in Beaver Stadium. They still want to win. They have pride that they have to play for, and that's without question going to be a tough game. And Indiana has to continue to beat the doubters, so to speak. And if we don't get this one, Gary, don't worry. I've got another slot later. We'll get you slotted into for the show today. But we may have to get somebody to help you get this thing lined out in the interim. And I'll call you in a commercial in the next commercial break. As a matter of fact, you'll have to email me your phone number so I can call you. This is how you handle it, baby. This is what you got to do when things are how they are. And it is what it is. But let's see. Can you just do sign language for us? I heard something there, Gary. I keep hearing a brief of something. I think if you did something there, it sounded like it hit, but can't tell. You're muted now. So, yeah. Well, I can do some sign language. Let's see. I can't do CFP, but Peach Bowl. See, that would be fun. Last time I saw Indiana playing the Peach Bowl, I believe it was against Tennessee or Auburn. I cannot recall because I think they played both of those teams in the Peach Bowl. And I keep hearing something pop right there. So whenever you're changing right there, it sounds like it's crushing along it. We're getting closer, but not quite there. As we're going through some technical issues today with our guest Gary Stokan, who's trying to get connected with us, the president and CEO of the Peach Bowl, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, don't forget, that takes place down in Atlanta, one of the Big Six bowl games that have become part of the college football playoff, become a part of the fabric of what we do in the fall. And as we continue to try to work through this, I'm just going to I'm going to go on with what I'm doing, Gary. You keep doing what you're doing, and we'll work on getting you on, no matter if we got to get you on later on in the show as well. And if you keep talking, if I hear you, I'll let you know. Some bad news from the NFL, and a little shocking with the Dallas Cowboys player yesterday that was being pulled over by police in a traffic stop and decided to run instead, and then wrecked and apparently took his life. Don't know what was going on with that. Just all kinds of crazy stuff going on. You got Antonio Brown. You've got this the NBA gambling stuff going on. It's like nuts with those people, man. And all of these people making so much money. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Russell asking me if I'm wearing Michigan colors today. Bro, that says the U.S. Open on it. That's the United States of America. So can't do that. And then Auburn, I mentioned Auburn a minute ago. They're also one of these teams in the hunt for a new coach. And where are all these guys going to come from? I don't know. Or some of these are going to be recycled. James Franklin's going to get a job. Hugh Freeze, I think, is done. But yeah, so you're going to have some assistants move up, but all of these head coaches aren't going away. Now, Brian Kelly, who wants him? I don't know. It's the stuff that goes on after the fact that you hear about. Then again, LSU and the governor and all the craziness that they had going on, that was nutsoid. But I'm going to take Gary out of there right now so he's not. But yeah, it's just crazy. But it is what it is. It's the crazy world of athletics. And it seems like no matter what, but I think it's piling on because athletics are always kind of crazy. We've always got crazy stuff going on in sports, but now we've just got these extra crazy things that you never know what is happening. And what are you going to do? But money drives people nuts, man. It can really just send you to the crazy side of things. But the Colts heading to Berlin, Germany, can they get back on the winning side of things? I think so. I absolutely think that they're a solid team that is going to be around at the end. I mean, they're one of the top teams in the NFL. You know, I've mentioned it before. How crazy would this be? Indiana being a state is kind of as small as it is, 7 million people total, but you've got the distinct possibility of Indiana winning the Big Ten championship, a national championship, a Heisman Trophy winner, and the Colts winning the Super Bowl. So crazy, yes, but possible? Absolutely. Absolutely it is possible. So we'll see how it works out. But it could be the year, man. Could be the year for crazy. Indiana and Marquette getting together on this Sunday, November 9th at the United Center in Chicago as part of the Waterkeeper Alliance Invitational. That is what I have no idea what that is. Waterkeeper Alliance Invitational. Indiana leads the all-time series 8-2. Their last meeting came in 2018, ending in a decisive 96-73 Indiana win. Game time, 1 p.m. at the United Center in Chicago. They're 3-0 on neutral floors. The Hoosiers are. Coach Shaka Smart. He's entering year 5 there at Marquette. And, of course, Darren DeVries is entering game 2 of his tenure at Indiana. But it opened up with a huge win over Alabama A&M, 98-51 Wednesday night. What will this matchup be like? I don't really know, to be honest with you. Marquette returns stability with Shaka Smart and a proven system while Indiana is adjusting to a new coach and a philosophy, but they seem to be adjusting pretty quickly. Playing in Chicago gives Marquette a slight regional edge, though doesn't matter towards Indiana's fan base.
Jim, can you hear me now?
Buddy, can I hear you loud and clear? I don't know what was going on there, but
Well, I moved my phone from my computer, so not that I'm the most technologically advanced, but when at first you don't succeed, try again.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what I might end up doing here is I might end up extending you a break here as well. And I can see if I can move somebody to later in the show. First of all, how are you doing? Congratulations on your upcoming retirement. Thank you for going through the trouble of being with us and all the trouble it took to get with us.
Well, being a Pittsburgh guy, you don't quit like my man Signetti. So, I'm sorry I couldn't get you on the computer, but glad to talk to you now on the phone.
Hey, glad to have you. The Peach Bowl, one of the I think of bowl games, and I go back into when I was in college. Like I said, I remember when I remember going to the Peach Bowl, the old Peach Bowl. I remember going to Fulton County Atlanta Stadium to watch the Peach Bowl, baby. I'm talking old gritty stuff. I remember, I think it was Indiana, Tennessee, or Auburn the first time I went there, and I saw play both of those teams at in the Peach Bowl before. But under your leadership, as a matter of fact, the Peach Bowl is elevated because it used to be, no offense intended, but it used to be what I would call a second tier. There's many tiers, but by second tier, I mean not Rose Bowl and other things like that, but now they are on par with those other. They're one of the six bowls, man. So you brought them from down below to the depths.
In 1998, when I took this job, my part of my job was to select the teams, and so I took Virginia, who was number 12 at the time, and Georgia, who was borderline top 25, and our own newspaper in our own city, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, headline was Georgia going to Peach Bowl, a third-tier bowl game. So to your point, we were looked at in our own city as a third-tier bowl game. So to now
I gave you credit. I
hosting,
said second tier, baby.
Yeah, you gave us some credit there. But to be hosting basically last year the quarterfinal of the CFP, the national championship game, and now the semifinal, all basically within a year, calendar-wise, is quite a remarkable accomplishment by the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, it has just grown. Like I said, it used to, I remember when it was held at the Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Of course, that was before there was such a thing as the Georgia Dome, which no longer exists. So that's how crazy that is. We've had a stadium in between stadiums now, but boy, things are just rolling down there. You've gotten the Peach Bowl rolling. What's it take to, when you guys were what you were, but you were fighting, you wanted more, you wanted to be what the Rose Bowl was, the Orange Bowl, the Cotton Bowl. What did it take to elevate your bowl game to that?
Well, it's been an interesting journey. I have a formula that I created when I owned my own sports marketing company called AIM, Asset Integrated Management. And it's a process that I used when I was global business unit manager at Adidas and created Kobe Bryant's first global marketing campaign to, winning awards on the business side. And so we used that for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And, we were just blessed, and Chick-fil-A has been a great partner, the longest partner in college football history. And they were about the size geographically of the ACC and the SEC when we had that matchup for 18 years and sold out all 18 years prior to joining the CFP. And so Chick-fil-A has grown with us. Now they're nationally and internationally even now. And now we're, part of the New Year's Six. And over the last 6 years, only the Rose Bowl has had higher attendance and higher viewership than the Peach Bowl, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So we've got a great city, a city that loves college football. The Southeast, prior to 1966, Atlanta didn't have a pro team. And so year after year, the Georgia Techs, the Georgias, and then you talk about Baton Rouge and Tuscaloosa and Auburn, all these college teams were the pro teams. And so you have generation after generation of following. So the fan support is fantastic. We've got a great facility. We've got great corporate support like Chick-fil-A and Aflac and Home Depot and Delta, Fortune 500 companies. Wonderful volunteers that enjoy providing Southern hospitality, and the best staff in the business, and a completely supportive and first-class board made up a lot of those Fortune 500 companies. So you put all those ingredients together in a recipe, and a lot of media have called us the capital of college football. We've brought the College Football Hall of Fame. I got to be careful because I know the people in South Bend still don't like me, but we recruited and brought the College Football Hall of Fame to Atlanta and built it and sustained it with $15 million from the Peach Bowl. We started the kickoff game and basically have changed the face of college football on the front side of the season scheduling wise, to whereas before our kickoff game, you'd have a lot of teams play directional schools or schools below them. Now you've got this year. I mean, we had 2 AFLAC kickoff games, but you had Texas play Ohio State. You had Notre Dame play Texas A&M. So we've changed the face of college football on the front side of the season. And then on the back side, we've taken the Peach Bowl to now where, we're hosting the semifinal for the 4th time. So it's been a great run. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, but very rewarding, not only for the football side, but we were the first bowl founded in 1968 for charity. We're the 9th oldest bowl game, but the first founded for charity. And we've kept that as part of our mission, where now we've given $70 million to charity. And we're the #1 bowl organization in the country, maybe the #1 college football organization in donating money to charity by using college football for the greater good.
Yeah, and it's amazing that people don't realize what these bowl games are. Not just football games. They're major parts of the communities of which they reside in, whether it's the Rose Bowl. I know we've got to think of the Rose Bowl parade, but for the Peach Bowl and things like that, a lot of charitable contributions that this thing backs. So, and there are a lot of people that let's see, you know what? As I'm going to hit the break now, and then we can start the next segment if that works for you.
Sure,
We've gotten going.
You do what you got to do.
Hey, I want to make sure we get everything in here. And
Gary Stokan, got to get your advertisers, get some business there.
That's right, Gary Stokan, the president and CEO of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, with us. Major part of the college football playoffs. Could you see the Indiana Hoosiers playing there sometime soon? Just maybe. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you right after these messages.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Friday, getting you into the weekend, another huge sports weekend. Lots of big games on tap, both football and basketball now as we're in crossover season. Jim Coyle with you as always, joined by Gary Stokan, the president and CEO. for how long, Gary, have you held this title?
Yeah, this will be my 27th bowl game. So,
wow.
And Jim, I know you were probably there. You talk about coming back, gosh, against Indiana, Tennessee, but seeing that Academy advertisement reminds me of my days at Adidas when I had Coach Knight in the Adidas sweater up there in Bloomington. A lot of great stories with Coach Knight.
Long time Adidas outlet, Indiana. They've been with Adidas for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised I'm not wearing something from that brand right now today. But yeah, you've been all the way around, and that's probably what gives you such a unique perspective on your current and soon to be former job. But what are some of the things? So you worked with Adidas. What else did you do in the sports world prior to this?
So my career's been a lot of fun. You know, when I announced my retirement next June 1st, I said, I looked up the word retirement in the dictionary, and it said, quote unquote, ceasing to work. And I said, well, I guess I can't retire because I've never worked a day in my life being in sports for 47 years. It's been a passion. It's been a love of my life. So I started playing basketball at North Carolina State and then coached basketball there under Norm Sloan, who was an Indiana guy. And then transitioned from basketball coaching into the business world with Adidas. And it was with Adidas in the Southeast, signed Herschel Walker to a contract, signed Mike Krzyzewski to a contract, had Bobby Knight in the red sweater at Adidas up there in Bloomington, had Michael Jordan ready to sign with Adidas, but Adidas didn't give me the money, and so he signed with Nike. I remember giving him the first $100 pair of basketball shoes in the United States to wear up in Bloomington when he was going to try out for the '84 Olympic team with Coach Knight. And I have pictures of Michael wearing Adidas, dunking, and et cetera. And I remember, I don't know if you've seen the movie Air, but Sonny Vaccaro, who's a good friend, we're both from Pittsburgh.
I didn't realize that.
Sonny was the consultant, so he made himself look great, but Sonny never went and visited the Jordan home. He didn't tell the story that Michael didn't want to go to Nike, that David Falk had to work on Michael's mother to get him to go out there. And in the book called Swoosh, it says when he was out there and he came out of the meeting, Michael's dad said, well, we got signed with Nike. And David Falk said, yeah, this is an incredible deal. And Michael's quoted in the book, no, I want to sign with Adidas. And at the time in the book Shoe Dogs, Phil Knight's book, he talks about how Nike was in the red big time. Couldn't find a bank to fund them back in '84. And so Michael, when he came back from Beaverton, Oregon, called me. I was 28. He was 23. He always called me Mr. Stokan. And I was still living in Raleigh, and obviously he's in Chapel Hill. He called me and said, Mr. Stokan, can you meet? And so I said, sure, Michael, we can meet. We went over to Chapel Hill. There's a stone wall on Franklin Street. And we drank a Coca-Cola and sitting there. And he said, Mr. Stokan, I love you. You've been great to me and my family. I love your product. I love Adidas. I want to sign with Adidas. If you can just get close on the car, the shoe deal, the annuity, the poster program, the clothing, you don't have to beat Nike. If you just get close, I'll sign with you. And so I wrote up this 3-page marketing campaign because Adidas was the international sponsor of the Olympic Committee. And with the Olympics being in LA and Russia was going to boycott because we boycotted in 1980, I knew we were going to win the gold medal in basketball and then come out and announce Michael wearing Adidas. Well, the Europeans, and again, Adidas was number one all over the world, but they forgot to see that the shoe wars were going to be fought in the United States. And they said, we don't have that kind of money to put in the U.S. market. It was $2.5 million. Now, if we sign Michael, there may not be a Nike because they were in red big time. And Michael winds up signing with Nike, sells $126 million of Air Jordan product his rookie year with the Bulls. takes Nike from the red into the black, and now Michael's own brand is worth $7 billion at Nike. But the end of the story is I go down to the Bahamas that next year on vacation, take my family, and we're walking through the casino to get to the dining room for dinner. And my daughters are 10 and 7 at the time. They're now 43 and 40. But we're walking through, and every casino has a jewelry shop and a clothing shop, and this one had a cigar shop. And my 10-year-old daughter looked over and said, "Michael Jordan's over there." I said, "Yeah, he is. Come on, we'll walk over." We walked over, and he's got Ahmad Rashad, Charles Barkley, and Charles Oakley with him, because Michael had always ran his golf tournament down in the Bahamas. So I walk over, and he sees me. Michael sees me. He says, "Gee, come here." So he puts me in a headlock, and he looks at my daughters, and he says, "Your dad is the hardest working white man in sports." My daughters have never forgot that. But he told Barkley, Oakley, and Rashad the same story I just told you, but he said, like Michael likes to do, stick it to you. He says, "Yeah, Gary didn't think I could play, and that's why Adidas didn't sign me." So that's so I would have had the greatest college football player in Herschel Walker signed, the greatest college basketball coach in Mike Krzyzewski signed, and the greatest pro basketball player in Michael Jordan signed.
Wow.
But
Incredible.
anyway, I went from Adidas to Converse, and extended
Chuck
Larry
Taylor.
Bird.
How about Mr. Chuck Taylor, Indiana shout out?
Yeah, well, Indiana, I worked for Al Harden, who played at Indiana, and Al was my boss at Converse. And unfortunately, after the first month and a half working together, Al got in a car accident and retired on disability from Converse. One of the best people I've ever met, Al Harden. I think he still lives in Crawfordsville. But yeah, Al and I worked together, and I wound up extending Bird and Magic's contract at Converse, signed Karl Malone. So anyway, it was at Converse, then started my own sports marketing company, and then went back to work for Adidas. And ironically enough, when Sonny Vaccaro and Peter Moore and Rob Strausser, who were in the Air movie that created the Air Jordan, got fired from Nike or left Nike, one or the other. And John Louis Dreyfus bought Adidas out of bankruptcy in Paris and hired those three guys to get Adidas going again in America. And Sonny told him he needed to hire me to run basketball globally. And so he hired me, and then Sonny signed Kobe, and I put together Kobe's first shoe, his first TV commercial, and first global marketing campaign. And then in 1998, I had served on the board of the Peach Bowl and the Atlanta Sports Council, and they asked me if I wanted to come and run it, and I had put probably like 175,000 miles on a year for a couple of years, and was ready to get off the road. My kids were going into middle school, and so it was a great transition for me to go to run the Atlanta Sports Council and help make Atlanta the sports capital of the world right after the Olympic Games in '96, and then make Atlanta the capital of college football now with the Peach Bowl. So, it's been a blessed run, been a great run, a lot of great people, and my family have been the best in supporting me, particularly my wife, and letting me travel and meet all the great people I've been able to meet in sports.
Yeah, as Andy said, it's been a shame if we didn't get that mic fixed, because these stories are incredible. I hate to have missed out on all of these. It's great, and I'm sure we could do this for an hour alone. The CFP coming up, man, I have said it over and over. College football last year, the greatest season ever in the history of college football. This season already, I think, is going to be better. I think it's better because of teams like Indiana, teams like Vanderbilt, teams like Missouri that are fighting with the big dogs now, and not only up there, but can win. I mentioned earlier the potential of Indiana having a Big Ten champion, national champion, Heisman Trophy winner, and the Colts maybe winning the NFL Super Bowl. It's just such a fun thing right now, and I know that there are things that with that NIL and whatnot that we need some guardrails, but overall, it's never been better.
Well, what you're seeing is the leveling out due to the House settlement of the distribution of players now. Prior to this, a kid at is a 5-star defensive end as a freshman may go to Alabama and wait a year to to start. Well, now that kid's going to go to Indiana or Vanderbilt or Missouri, like you said, those 3 teams, and he's going to get paid, to play. And so you only can use so much money to get players. So you're seeing the distribution of players throughout the country, and that's why you're seeing teams like Indiana and Vanderbilt, and Missouri rise to the level they have. Obviously, it's great coaching. I mean, I think Kirk Cignetti is one of the greatest coaches in the game right now. I mean, to prove it at James Madison and Elon and, now Indiana, I mean, everywhere he's gone, he's done a great job and turned programs around. So give him a lot of credit. You'd never think that, and this is not a slight to Indiana, but, you never thought Indiana be up there, next to Ohio State and above Michigan and Iowa and people like that in college football. But Kirk Cignetti's done it and done it consistently for 2 years in a row now.
And I think this is something that is more than sustainable for multiple reasons. You've got great buy-in and the fans and players. It's not all about money. Players want to win. Players want to be coached. Players want to get to that next level. A lot of what Kirk Cignetti is doing, he does not have a single 5-star on that roster, not one. So as a matter of fact, last year we were talking, most of the guys had 0 stars when they were coming out of high school. So another incredible season, looking like probably Ohio State and Indiana heading towards the Big Ten championship. Now with the selection, I know the Peach Bowl this year is one of the semifinal locations, correct?
That's correct. Us and the Fiesta Bowl will host the semifinals, and the way it will work is number one, whoever is number one at the start of the bracket, when the CFP selection committee creates the bracket, they won't change the bracket. They'll give the first 4 teams, not first 4 conference champs like last year, but first 4 ranked teams the byes. And whoever is number one will get the geographical advantage. So in other words, if Ohio State, if the season ended today and Ohio State was number one, which they're ranked right now, that part of the bracket would go to Atlanta and play in the Peach Bowl.
So even though they probably would have played in the Rose Bowl, being the Big Ten, if they were the Big Ten champion, which would have made them number one, they win in Pasadena, they would then go to Atlanta, and let's say Indiana finish second and they win where they're sent, they would then go to the Fiesta Bowl.
They would go to the Fiesta Bowl, right?
Okay,
right. And it's interesting. This is the last year of the 12-year contract, initial 12-year contract. So in the quarterfinals, you have just the opposite. So if Ohio State would play their quarterfinal more than likely in the Rose Bowl, and because they're number one, they would get the conference tie-in that they have. The Sugar Bowl would get the SEC champ going to the Sugar Bowl. So, first off, they're going to do 1 through 4, but then if there's a tie-in to a conference contract, that school would go to that tie-in. So that's how it would work in the quarterfinals. But in the semis, it's who's ever number one, they're going to get the geographical advantage.
But trust me, you're hoping that you go to Atlanta. Plus, in Atlanta, perfect location as far as geographically for most of these football teams. They're smack dab in the middle. You're 7 hours from Bloomington here, I think. So that's nothing. And then, south, the same direction. You guys are perfectly located for that.
Yeah, we're blessed
from
with a great
fan's
geographical
perspective.
advantage. And also, having the most effective and efficient and the biggest airport in the world, where you got hourly flights from just about every city, major city, in the country. So yeah, a lot of advantages too. And there's a lot of people in the Big Ten that live in Florida, And so it's an easy
A
trip.
lot
up
of
from
Indiana
Florida
fans
as
live in
well.
Florida. Indiana has the second largest living alumni in the country, and they are everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, we probably have a lot of them in Georgia as well. So yeah, it's a geographical advantage. And playing in Mercedes-Benz, there's no problem with the weather because you're 72 degrees in a enclosed stadium. So yeah, we have a lot of the advantages that some people don't have.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully, hopefully we get to do this again, because that means Indiana is heading towards Atlanta, which I would love to be able to follow them towards Atlanta. The Peach Bowl was fine, but the Fiesta Bowl was fine, but I'd rather go to Atlanta. It's easier to get to, a lot more fun. We've got you there. We can just have some Chick-fil-A and all kinds of good things.
You'll eat some
Plus,
Chick-fil-A if you come down here for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl for sure.
and if we get to talk again, we'll talk about what are the other many, many things that happened during bowl week, the week preceding the game. I know there's tons of things that you guys do throughout the community and for fans alike as well. So hopefully we'll get to talk about that as well.
Well, we'd love to do that, Jim, and good luck the rest of the way. I know at Penn State's going to be a tough game, even though it's a little bit different Penn State team probably, but still with Wisconsin and at Purdue, a rival obviously of Indiana. Nowadays, you got to hope you win out. You got to hope the teams that you beat, particularly the ranked teams, win out. So those wins, really help you down the stretch. And then, interesting Big Ten championship game there. But it's kind of interesting with the top 6 teams being Big Ten and SEC teams. We're in for an interesting time here.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be phenomenal. Like I said, it's been great. I can't wait and look forward to more of it. Gary, I cannot thank you enough. I apologize for the
No, it's not you, it's
issues.
me. I apologize to you, and I guarantee you next time I'll have it straightened out, or we'll do it on the phone like we've done this one. And tell Kirk Signetti, my Pittsburgh guy, best of luck and down the stretch here. And hope to see you guys.
Yeah, Seeins, I had to learn what a Yinzer was. I had to learn.
Yeah.
Are you a Yinzer?
Oh, yeah. Both my wife and I. My father-in-law played for the Pirates, and we both grew up in Pittsburgh. And we've been damn Yankees though. We've been down south. I went to school at North Carolina State and then moved to Atlanta. So we've been here for about 43 years now. So yeah, it's
Gary,
but love Pittsburgh.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I look forward to doing this again.
All right, Jim. Take care, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gary Stokan, the president and CEO of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Hopefully, Indiana fans will get to head to that direction later on in the college football playoffs. We've got more coming up. Zach Osterman from the Indy Star is going to join us. Indiana's got basketball and football this weekend. Alec Lasley from the Hoosier.com will join us later as well. More coming up on the backside right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 2 dozen or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, here on this Friday. Zach Osterman, the IU Insider for the Indy Star, joining us. Zach, a busy weekend coming up, sir, for Indiana fans, and I'm sure for you as well. Just your sports teams getting after it. The Falcons. Are you a Falcons fan, being from Atlanta?
Unfortunately, yes.
Hey, well, you're Michael Penix Jr., starting for the Falcons, taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Berlin over the weekend. So that should be something to watch.
I don't think I will. The Falcons have done too much to me.
Yeah, it's one of those.
My heart is hardened.
How is I know you probably haven't had a lot of time to keep up with the Falcons this year, but as Michael Penix's progression, how have you seen much of that? Well, how's he done? I know that one time they kind of took him out of the starting role and he's back. But it's
he was injured. He was injured, so he missed a start, or maybe 2. I think it was just 1. I mean, he's looked okay. The offense in general just has not been great. The line has had some injuries. The offense is not. He probably doesn't. I mean, this is a weird thing to say when you consider the Falcons have Bijan Robinson, but the skill group is not great overall. And just sort of the creativity and the ingenuity in the play calling is just not very good. So, not to sound like a downer, but the Falcons just aren't a very good football team, unfortunately. And Penix has looked good, but it's probably fair to say it's difficult to tell what has been down to his shortcomings and what has just been the failings of the system around him that have not, the Falcons have moved the ball okay. Like some of the offensive numbers look all right, but obviously the results just are not there. So.
Yeah, you look at a guy like Daniel Jones, who has not had a ton of success in the NFL until now, and all of a sudden they're breaking records set by Peyton Manning and company, which it just shows you how you've got to be in the right situation, the right coach, the right system, the right resources around you, and how things can then go together.
Yeah, no, I mean, there is a lot that goes into it. Penix is also obviously still very young. This is his first full year as a starter. I think he's still probably in single digits in terms of career starts. Maybe he just hit 10 career starts. There's a lot that's wrong with the Falcons that has nothing to do with Michael Penix, but if you're Atlanta, you spend a top 10 pick on a quarterback, you can't be wasting, especially a quarterback that is, he came into the league pretty old. Like Michael Penix, you expect him to keep getting better, but he was not a project when they took him out of Washington. He played 6 years of college football. So, if you're Atlanta, you can't be wasting too much time with a guy like that. And to be clear, what I mean is, you can't be wasting the years that you're going to get with him. Like you need to be much more proactive about building around him and giving him the tools that he needs. And I don't think they've done that.
And now we've got Indiana
potentially with Kurt Signetti has been known as having a lot of success with quarterbacks. And now that success has moved to a bigger stage. You had Curtis Rourke last year, who was a mid-major quarterback, but turned in the performance he had last season. Now you've got Fernando Mendoza, who is currently listed as the top selection in the NFL draft potentially next year. He is a potential Heisman Trophy winner, and we know what's going on with Indiana. The quarterback position is one that could benefit Indiana in the fact that Kurt Signetti is doing a good job with this particular position. Guys are going to want to be at Indiana.
No, 100%. And I think in particular, and we'll see. I don't think it's clear yet that, does the staff think Alberto Mendoza is going to be ready next year? Will they want competition for him? Will they want somebody ahead of him? I mean, I don't think any of us have seen enough to know. But in particular, there is an established track record with transfer quarterbacks. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Todd Centeio is a transfer quarterback at JMU. Jordan McLeod, who was Sun Belt Player of the Year, Signetti's last season in Harrisonburg. And then as you talk about Curtis Rourke and Fernando Mendoza, there is a proven track record of the offense being able to fit itself around and get the most out of quarterbacks that, maybe don't have a ton of time in it. And that's obviously appealing to, guys looking for an opportunity. Rourke, I don't remember where Rourke ranked in the transfer rankings. Mendoza was considered among the best portal QBs last offseason. And I think there was a bit of a perception, and maybe this was true, maybe it wasn't, that Indiana got him in part because of his brother. But I don't think Fernando Mendoza comes to Indiana if there is not that proven track record of taking portal guys and having a lot of success with them and putting them in positions to succeed. And, especially in Curtis Rourke's case, getting him a professional opportunity. And so, if Indiana wants to go into the transfer market for a QB this winter, and I don't know if they do or not, but if they do, then, the sales pitch is going to be pretty clear and relatively easy for whoever they want to recruit.
Yeah, I think that their options will be many. Not only that, but as Indiana heads into Penn State this weekend, because of the happenings with Penn State and the firing of James Franklin, Indiana's success, now there are more than a few recruits that are eyeing Indiana, and that Indiana is now eyeing guys like Hyattsville, Maryland, DeMatha receiver LeVar Keys. He was in Indiana for the UCLA game, and others. Matt Sieg had been committed to Penn State. This is an opportunity for Indiana to really double down on its recruiting.
Yeah, I think you will probably see that more in the next class. Like, the two kids you mentioned obviously are Penn State decommits. So the opportunity there is a little bit distinct to their situation. Obviously, also Indiana's got a lot of players already committed in 2026. Like Indiana's got a ton of guys that it's going to have felt really good about, from the perspective of evaluation, the recruiting process, the offer, the commitment, etc. Obviously with the December signing period, we are kind of close to the end of the cycle for a lot of these guys. But where I think if you're Indiana, and listen, Indiana already, I don't have the rankings right in front of me, but my perception has been that Indiana's recruiting rankings, sort of aggregate numbers, are better this year than they were last year. And I would not be shocked if you see them take another step forward in 2027. I think it's 27 and 28, which Indiana has already, if you look at some of the visitor lists and some of the players who've come through, Indiana's already got a pretty robust sort of build out, particularly in 27, but a little bit 28 as well, of players that, are seriously considering Indiana, that are probably at that slightly higher caliber of recruit that you're talking about. that's where I think you're going to see, if there is kind of a jump for Indiana from sort of a rankings perspective, where you say, well, this is, look how many players they have in the top 100 or the top 150 or whatever. I think that probably really starts in earnest in 27 or 28.
Does it help them in particular position groups, or is it just overall?
It's probably a bit of both. I mean, again, you probably should be able to tell your story to a quarterback more easily now. I think that, you're going to, if you've got like a player that you think can be instant, immediate impact at a certain position, you can point to someone like D'Angelo Pons and say, like, if the player is good enough, then, if you're good enough, you're going to play. I think that there are naturally going to be some positions. Edge rusher is probably another one where you can kind of say, between the proof in the recent past and also sort of the relationship with the coaches on staff, Indiana should have a leg up in recruiting. But there is also just, I think, a general success that will follow. Obviously, the ability, or obviously the proven sort of track record in the portal and the proven track record on the field of Indiana's going to reload, Indiana's going to stay, is going to stay competitive, etc. But also, I think, one of the questions that probably a lot of people felt needed to be answered when Kurt Signetti and his staff jumped up from JMU was, can they keep recruiting at this level when, and developing at this level when they go up to the Big Ten? And so far, obviously, we haven't seen, a full generation, so to speak, of guys come through. But you can look at a Mario Landino, you can look at an Isaiah Jones, a Tyreek Tucker, and you can say, well, these are guys that for all intents and purposes were developed by this staff, and look at them making plays now. And that's where I think, it probably becomes easier to tell your story in recruiting.
Without question. And then this weekend, the Indiana heading off to Happy Valley to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions, the shocking team of the season with 0 wins in Big Ten play. Started out ranked number 2 in the country, and we all know where that story has gone. But this is not a game that I think Indiana fans can just think they can walk into and walk out of with a gigantic win. It's still a 100,000 seat stadium. You still have a lot of talented athletes, talented coaches on that staff, and Indiana is going to have to do what they've been doing, taking care of business, not beating themselves. And the thing about Indiana is nothing they do is flashy. They just do everything well, and they don't beat themselves, but they've got to continue to do that. You don't want to get into a situation like the Colts did last week. You turned the ball over 6 times, and they were able to keep the game close, but they still ended up losing the game. So you never take anyone lightly, especially an opponent with the background of a Penn State. Indiana's never won in Happy Valley. So a lot of stuff on the line for the Hoosiers as they continue towards yet another potentially historic season.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
You've got a story out today on that very thing.
It is the hardest kind of game to handicap left on the schedule, for all the reasons you mentioned. That, the season undeniably is what it is. And especially in this modern era, I think it's harder than ever to keep players, fans, just the whole operation sort of focused once the season's gone in this direction. I did radio in State College yesterday, and they made a point that I didn't really think about, which is, for anyone who's never been, State College is pretty remote. Like it's 90 plus minutes from Harrisburg. It's about 3 hours from Philly, 3 hours from Pittsburgh. Unlike a school like Ohio State or, even a school like maybe Georgia or Alabama, which is, located relatively close to the population center where it's drawing a lot of its season ticket holders from. You have to kind of to get to State College on game day is a bit of a haul. Like it's going to be a 2 or 3 hour drive each way for a lot of people. And if you're not engaged, if you're not like if it feels like the season has just completely drifted, which it obviously has, is that really worth it? You know, and when I checked yesterday, get-in prices were like right at $20, and that's fees included, which is just a remarkable number for a Penn State home game in November against a top 5 team. Having said all that, you're right in saying there's still NFL talent on both lines of scrimmage. They still have two of the, you know, on pure ability, two of the best running backs in the Big Ten. You know, on just aggregate athletic level, this is going to be one of the 3 or 4 best teams Indiana plays, at least in the regular season, you know, this year. So you have to take Penn State, the idea of Penn State seriously is maybe the best way to put it. You have to take the idea of Penn State seriously. And then if you line up across from them and it's a bunch of guys that are just checked out or unmotivated, and it's I think a redshirt freshman, quarterback, and you can kind of speed him up and get him confused the way you did Nico Iamaleava, the way you did Malik Washington, etc., then you can probably win this game by a couple scores. But listen, you know, as much as we talk about how much has changed for Indiana, this is one of those where winning in State College, until you do it, you've got to respect that you've never done it before. And you've got to respect that there's a reason for that. And so, you know, this is the kind of game where I think a fast start really helps. Whatever crowd is there, take them out of it. But it is, you know, the other side of that is, and Kurt Signetti would never say this, but you know, that Wisconsin line might be generationally large for Indiana. And Purdue is better than it was a year ago, but Indiana is still going to be comfortably favored to win that game too. This is the last big hurdle. Now, how big it is hard to say. That's kind of what I'm to torture this metaphor. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. It's hard to say exactly how big this hurdle is, but it is the last big hurdle, whatever its size, between Indiana and 12-0, and with barring some kind of collapse or injury crisis or whatever. And it's going to be fascinating to see how Indiana navigates certainly the physical on the field challenge, but also a little bit that intangible, you know, sort of focus challenge, if you want to say.
Zach Osterman, the IU insider for the Indy Star. I assume you're going to be in State College on Saturday, I assume, right?
I will be. We split it up. Mike's going to be in State College just so we can make sure we're at both places. Mike's going to. He's planning to get there. I don't know how all these flight disruptions are going to affect him.
I understand you, brother. I'll see you in Chicago. Then that means.
Yeah, that's my primary assignment for the weekend. So.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be in two places at once. Zach, thank you very much, brother, as always.
Absolutely, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Make sure you're giving Zach a follow. Zach Osterman, the IU insider for the Indy Star. More coming up. Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com joins us. We'll talk about some upcoming recruiting for football and basketball. More coming up on the other side. Right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. And you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemooreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Friday, heading you into a gigantic sports weekend. We're in week 11 of the college football season. Indiana heading to Happy Valley to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions as they look to get to 10-0 for the second consecutive season. Never happened in school history. Now they're looking to do it twice in a row. Not only that, Alec Lasley with thehoosier.com with us. Alec, there are a lot of recruits that Indiana are trying to use this to flip right now and pull these guys in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, I mean, not only the coaching changes, impacted a lot, right? But Indiana's success on the field too, dating back obviously to the college football playoff last year, they were able to gain a lot of good momentum here, kind of in the, I would say, early to middle parts of the 2026 class, and really did a lot of their work early on in that kind of cycle. Obviously got some late commits there from a kind of early fall, or I guess early spring standpoint there. But then we're focused on the transfer portal. Obviously that momentum went right into the summer, and it's going into the fall again. So it's a pretty much just an uptick from whenever Curt Cignetti stepped on campus for the first time there. And into where it is today. Obviously, they're going hard after a couple Penn State commits and decommits. We'll see what happens, right? I know some people have been talking about Messiah Mickens, the running back there from Penn State, who's still committed there, the 4-star running back. There's a lot of kind of back and forth to see if he will get on campus. As of yesterday afternoon, there were still no visits scheduled with Indiana. Oklahoma has done a really good job in that recruitment. And it seems like, Indiana and Oklahoma are kind of the two out in front if a decommitment were to happen with Mickens. But at this point, it doesn't seem like Indiana will get that. He's still playing in postseason play, and most of his games are on Saturdays, obviously with only one home game left. That's going to be a little bit difficult to kind of squeeze that into. So we'll see if that happens, but he does have a visit to Oklahoma planned. We'll see if he gets out to Indiana, but still a lot of fires cooking, and obviously a little less than a month away from National Signing Day. There, they have still some pieces that they're looking to flip to kind of round out the rest of that 2026 recruiting class.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I still don't know how much. Well, although I know it's some, but how much of freshman recruiting that Curt Cignetti is, I don't know if concerned with is the right word, but they've done such an incredible job of identifying talent and developing that talent further that, man, this is a direction that they're probably going to go. I'm going to guess with 2/3 of their recruiting, at least, if not 75%.
Yeah, I mean, look, all the top teams in the country, right? A large majority of them have built the depth, right, through their high school recruiting. Guys who maybe wait 2 or 3 years to really kind of step into that role. Similarly to IU, right? They've built most of their back end depth through high school right now. Obviously, 2 years in, kind of 1.5, 2 recruiting cycles here for Cignetti, but most of what he's been able to do has been getting, plug and play guys from the transfer portal that have been able to come in, step in and make a huge impact. Devin Boykin, obviously Kellen Wyatt before he went down, 2 notable one, Zai Wheeler, right. And other guy who's been able to really step in and make a big impact. Stephen Daly, he's come in, make a big impact. So, you have a lot of those guys who have been, standouts where they've been at in previous stops. but maybe have not been, showcased at a, really, really great developmental level and have come in. And Kurt Cignetti talked about it last night, specifically on his radio show, but how, they've done such a good job from top down on the staff and from top down on their veteran leadership portion of the players, of when these guys need to step up and make an impact, they always seem to be ready. Some of those guys, it's week 1. Some of those guys, it's week 4. We've obviously seen Devin Boykin step up the last 3-4 weeks here and now become a major playmaker for this already really, really talented defense and really talented secondary. Then you bring in Byron Baldwin, right? Obviously the one kind of key freshman who's been expected to play a significant role for this defense was injured for the majority of kind of the second half of that fall camp cycle, and really kind of limited, how much he was going to be able to step into a large role immediately. But, other than that, I mean, most of these guys have been, 3-4 year starters or contributors elsewhere, potentially at, more of a mid-major level, and have been able to kind of take that step up because of not only the eye that this coaching staff has for talent, but then the ability to get them up to speed and be able to have them turn it on when needed. And I thought that was just very interesting that, they don't need everyone to step in and be an instant impact player on day one, right? But they need them to show up at some point. They're expecting them to make plays at some point. And through now 2 seasons, we've seen all these guys be able to do that when they're needed. Guy, obviously, probably didn't impact the whole grand scheme of the game, and probably wouldn't have. But at that moment, that interception from Caden Turner last week, right? A guy who's very rarely seen the field here for Indiana, steps in, obviously after some of the injuries there at the linebacker position, gets a key interception. Charlie Becker, another guy who steps in, gets that big catch and run, and really turns the momentum of that game against Maryland, obviously without Elijah Surratt, and then without Aiden Fisher there, who they both stepped in for. So, they look for these guys to be able to step in and make an impact when their name's called. But every person, right, that they put in there is not going to have the same level of impact and not need to make the same level of impact at the exact same time. And they've done a good job of establishing that culture there.
We've seen this football team go through the season doing one thing and one thing only, and that is not beating itself. They have not that they've been mistake-free. Nobody is going to do that. But what stands out to me about this team is there's nothing special about them. And by that, I mean they're running the ball over you. They are, and if you try to take that away, they'll throw the ball on you or vice versa. And they do it very simply. It's not trick plays and this, that, and the other thing. Defensively, it's the same thing. The defensive line just gets after you. They don't make a lot of mistakes. You're not seeing dumb penalties. Man, how many teams just beat themselves with 9, 10 penalties in a game? You get a couple of personal fouls on you. And that has been something Indiana has been able to stay away from. That goes right back to Kurt Cignetti's his philosophy on everything from the top down, of just doing everything one play at a time. I know it sounds simple, it sounds cliche, but they are living it. But more importantly, they're doing it, and that is a big reason why they are having the success they are.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting going back to the radio show last night. Bob Bostad was the other guest on the show, and he had what I thought was a pretty notable quote about Kurt Cignetti and just how he's able to, get the attention to detail and the level of consistency there from just what you said, top down, not only just from his main coordinators, but specifically the players themselves and everyone there. But, he said, and then this is the start of the quote, this is a different prep. We do things a little bit differently here. There's a little more attention to detail and consistent pressure to do the right things, and a real standard from one facet of the game to everything else. And then this is a guy that, Bob Bostad was highly regarded, right, from almost every coach around the country. He spent time at one of the best offensive line programs in Wisconsin. He's been in the NFL, and he was the one coach that Kurt Cignetti talked about when he took the Indiana job that he was extremely excited to see. So to get that kind of quote, to see that kind of quote from someone who's been coaching at numerous different areas, numerous stops, numerous levels for 40 years, that's, in my opinion, pretty notable to just see and emphasize what everyone's kind of talked about is that consistent standard that's been able to be set ever since Kurt Cignetti, stepped into his office there in Bloomington, and it seems to be a real culture that is difficult to be built. But I think that pressure to do the right thing every single time from day one to now, and Kurt Cignetti talked about it too yesterday, the ability to play as if the score was 0-0 every single play. You don't see that a lot, and so that level of consistency, I think, is not something to just kind of push to the side. That's something that is extremely critical, but also extremely rare. And you're seeing that obviously with what Kurt Cignetti's been able to do from his main assistants all the way down to the GAs, all the way down to all of his players, first and kind of first rep guys and last rep guys.
Yeah, and Indiana getting another great opportunity this week, being on Fox television for their big noon kickoff. Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt on that call for that. Indiana basketball, after opening up their season with a 98-51 win over Alabama A&M, now travel to Chicago to take on Marquette. Shaka Smart. Marquette not ranked either right now, so this is expected to be a test for Indiana, although I don't know how much of a test this is really going to be for Indiana. I don't know a lot about Marquette at this moment, this early on.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is, and then we'll have a exclusive Q&A with the Marquette beat writer up here later on today to kind of walk through this Marquette team, because like you said, it is a vastly different Marquette team than what I think a lot of people are used to. Right, there's no Cam Jones anymore. Stevie Mitchell's gone. A lot of that core that really started when Shaka Smart was there is no longer on this roster. And I saw something in I think it was the Marquette game notes yesterday that I think last year they were one of like 2 teams or 3 teams in all of college basketball to have the same starting lineup every single year or every single game. And Shaka Smart talked about it this year, where that's probably not going to be the case. He's still kind of looking through his rotation. He played 12 guys in the first half on Wednesday, I believe it was. They're consistently going 11 and 12 deep. But this is a much more prototypical Marquette team than I think what they had last year. And by that, I mean, they got a couple key pieces back, right? They have Chase Ross, kind of the go-to player, but stepped up now from being kind of the third or fourth option to their main option. But he's 6'6" wing, right? And he has some of that same, NBA level athleticism that Shaka Smart hasn't really had consistently on the perimeter. He's had a lot of crafty players, but hasn't had the true athleticism. That's going to be a really difficult guarding job for whomever has that from an IU perspective, has really good size and length. They have 4 guys over 6'9", 6'10", though not very consistent up to this point. And that's going to be the big X factor, is really, what this IU front court that obviously is very limited to Sam Alexis and Reed Bailey, what they can do against a still kind of ever-growing Marquette front court, where you have a couple different younger guys in there, a couple different veteran guys, but still at this point, Shaka Smart talked about it the other day, where he just wants to see a little bit more consistency out of those bigs, specifically rebounding the ball. So that's going to be a big factor there. But Marquette likes to get up and press. They like to make the game scrappy. They like to double team multiple different ball handlers from the opposition there, and they want to create turnovers and get out in open space. That's where they're at their best, is in transition. They're an okay half court team through kind of the start of the season here, and they've played a lot of opponents so far in their 2 games that have played a heavy dose of zone, so it's going to be a little bit different from that aspect. But I think you look at what Baylor had, which was a lot more length and athleticism on the perimeter. Outside of Chase Ross, I don't think you necessarily have that from this Marquette team, but you have a lot of quickness in the backcourt, and you have a lot of versatility in the front court. And I think that's going to be the one aspect is Indiana going to be able to keep these guards in front of them, which they struggled with a little bit at times early in that Baylor game. And then what their front court's going to be able to do specifically, right, if Reed Bailey or Sam Alexis pick up a couple early fouls, right? This isn't an exhibition game where you have 6 fouls to go through, which they played in that Baylor game, right? This now counts. This is now obviously for their win-loss record, and we're going to see really what this IU front court can do going up against a versatile, I wouldn't say physical, but a versatile front court there with Marquette, and definitely a matchup that's going to decide the game there from that perspective.
Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com. Make sure you go get a subscription if you haven't already. And as a matter of fact, if you're listening to here on the radio side of things and YouTube, if you go subscribe by the end of November, make sure you let me know. You go into the entry for one of these gorgeous embroidered Adidas thehoosier.com jackets. And we've got much more. Alec, thank you a lot, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, Jim. Have a good one.
You bet. Hey, we've got lots coming up this weekend. The post-game show for Indiana football at Penn State, and then Indiana basketball at versus Marquette in Chicago. Planning on that for Sunday as well. Hopefully that all comes out. Just tune in. Appreciate you guys. Go out and have yourselves a great weekend. I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.